Hey everyone, what's up? Welcome back to my channel, Koki Creative. My name's Elena and I'm a part of the EA Creator Network. So today we are doing a speed build, and this speed build is my first build using the Businesses and Hobbies expansion pack. There's so much I want to say about this build, so let me just start with the facts. It's on a 30 by 20 lot, it's in the New World Nordhaven, and it is 222,000 simoleons, 3 bedrooms, and 6 bathrooms. So for the style, I went with a mix of old and new. So half of the build is this older traditional brick row home kind of style, and then the other half is this modern style. So Nordhaven, the world that comes with the new pack / the world that I'm building in right now, is based off of Scandinavian harbor cities like Copenhagen and Berlin. Just like whenever a new pack comes out, I did spend some time looking around the new world, seeing what's new, and I love it. It's super duper pretty, but I did not build in that style, even though I am building in the new neighborhood. It's just, I had this idea for this build and I really wanted to do it, and I really wanted to build in the new neighborhood because it's always exciting to be on a new lot. I wouldn't say that it looks out of place though, and I like that it's in the city center. I think it's a really cute spot. All right, so the next thing I'm about to do I end up deleting, but I leave it in the video anyway because I wanted to show you. I'm using debug base game white pillars. I don't really know what to call those, but they are in debug. I was trying to make this indoor outdoor sun porch thing, but every time I was playing around with the platforms, it kept deleting and moving those debug pillars. So I ended up just deleting those. I was planning on replacing them later, but better news. The new pack comes with these like something very similar to that. And I will show you it later. I will point it out when I see it later. Like right now in my build process, I'm just testing things out. So there's a lot of things that I do and then I take away or I change just because I kind of plan my builds out to a certain extent, especially one that's this size. I did sketch it out, but the modern edition ended up being a last minute thing. That was not an idea from the get-go. So the fact that I even put that huge addition, like my original build idea was just about the left side of the build, just that more traditional look. So it definitely got a lot bigger. So for the modern, I just want to have fun. What's really cool about modern is I feel like there aren't really rules. If I'm building in a more traditional style, like let's say I'm doing a Tudor build, sometimes I'll go to Pinterest or go to like Google just to find some pictures that I can make sure that I'm keeping true to the style. But like modern, there aren't really rules. I mean, I can build a modern house and then someone can give it a genre that it is, but I just kind of like to have fun with it. Yeah, so I didn't really have any plan for the modern side. And I probably spent a little bit more time with the modern side because of that. Plus, like, look at the traditional side. It's like a block. It's like a rectangle. But I do like to have a lot of nooks and crannies. So sometimes when I just have like a really simple build, I'll be like, what else can I add to kind of give this something else? Like I could have maybe added a second building or like a little shed that's on an angle. Sometimes things are just too plain and boring. But there is ways to dress up the plain and boring. Because, I mean, while we go through this build, I absolutely love how the brick side, the traditional side turning out, especially the cafe that's inside, super duper cute. So let me just now talk you through where we are in this build. The vision is coming together. The middle portion there with the blue windows and door, that is a staircase up to the second story, just like any row home would be, where you have businesses on the bottom and then apartments on top. There's usually like a door off to the side with a separate entrance. So I wanted to have that nice separate entrance for them. They kind of had their privacy, and the rooftop decks do belong to the apartments, along with that little sunbathing deck. That's a giant platform off to the right side of the modern house. We'll get to all that later. I do have all these. I get the sun deck, for example, that big platform. I was just moving stuff around, seeing what looked good. And I'm like, what if I just made this giant platform thing? And I ended up liking the way it turned out. It's like this nice little deck. The people on the bottom floor have no way of accessing it. You have to be in the second story to get there. So I like that it's kind of out of the way. Okay, so another reason why I added the sunbathing deck, or not the sunbathing deck, sorry, the rooftop deck, was because there is no yard for the family. And it's supposed to be a 3-bedroom apartment with some kids. And I want to make sure they have an area to kind of hang out, run around a little bit. Even though the activities that I do put on the rooftop deck are a little bit more adult focused, like I have a greenhouse and a gym, but it's still a nice place for the kids to go. You can place some extra credit down if you have the Parenthood pack. One thing that's really annoying, I've played in a lot of really small builds and there's like no place to put the extra credit box that you get with the Parenthood pack. So I'll like have to do it outside. And I have like so many times where my Sims have just been doing extra credit and it's pouring rain on them. And so yeah, I did try to consider space. So now I'm fiddling around a little bit more and I'm actually starting to, I always have a point in my builds where I'm like, this thing is so ugly. This thing will never turn out. I didn't really know if I liked the 3-story cement block / stairs. You know what I'm talking about. The center that splits the two, modern and new. I didn't know if I liked that, but it did grow on me. I thought, oh, this kind of looks stupid. Like, have I ever seen this in real life? Not really. Maybe. I don't know. But it ends up working. Okay, just don't question it. I like to try different things. I spent so much time in this little back deck area. Like, and it's all it is a seat. Like this little back deck, that sunroom that I was talking about earlier, I spent way too much time trying to figure out what to do with that space. But I like both, or not just, I like all 4 angles of the exterior to look good. I love me an exterior. Don't get me wrong, I do like to do interiors and all that stuff. I love decorating. But when it comes to like what I love most about building, it's the exterior. I'm a facade girl. Oh my God. Like if I could, I could actually, no one's telling me I can't. I would just build shells. I would just build shells and upload those to the gallery. I just feel obligated to decorate it. Maybe I can make them like partially decorated because I just really love doing exteriors. And it really doesn't take me that long. I get into this like flow state. The second I start doing the interiors and I get to the clutter part, I'm overwhelmed and kind of over it. This build didn't take me as long as you think it would for it being so many things. I think in total it took me like 6 or 7 hours. I built it almost right away. Like after I got the pack, I started it. I just have been busy because I accidentally got really into Project Zomboid. And I, instead of like all the time that I would spend working on videos and editing them, I have been playing that game. So I need to, it's been a month now since I started playing. So it's like cooling off and I'm having a bit more time to edit. All right, what we're looking at right now is this little deck off the cafe that you can go outside and sit on. I love spandrels, I believe that's what they're called. The pretty little details. On porches. I'll put some more later, but if I can put a spandrel down, I will put a spandrel down. That's what I love about Sims 4. I've spent quite a bit of time recently because Sims 2 and Sims 1 just came out playing around there. And it made me really appreciate how easy Sims 4 build mode is. Not just easy, but also customizable. I forgot that in Sims 2, you can't even put stuff on a diagonal. And I'm like, oh, this is killing me. How many chairs? Oh, I hate a chair that's in the corner. You have to choose a side. I don't know. I want it to be on an angle. Ugh. All right, so now I'm redoing the windows and I finally get windows that I like. Sometimes it takes me a while to decide what windows to use because I just feel like they're very important and sometimes it just feels unbalanced. I don't know how to describe it. All right, let me tell you what inspired this build because there's actually a story behind it. So back in 2018/2019, my husband and I were living in a small town in Michigan, and downtown there was this big, beautiful brick building that was built in the early 1900s that went for sale. So it was a really good price, and on the first story, it had 2 units for 2 different businesses, and then on the second story was a big apartment. So it was a pretty decent sized building, but it needed a lot of work. We toured it, it was beautiful, but it just was too big of a project for us. But as we were talking about it and touring it, we were kind of just imagining what we would do with the space. And on the first story, I wanted to have a little tattoo/tea shop. I don't even know how that would work, but it was an idea that I kind of threw around tattoos and tea. It was going to be a very welcoming, comfortable environment for anyone that wants to go to a tattoo shop that might be a little bit nervous. So yeah, that was kind of my idea, but obviously it's a pipe dream. Anyway, so let me talk a little bit more about this build. I'm still fiddling around. I love the circle windows, by the way. I know, talking about windows again, but those circle windows come with a new pack. I think think they are gorgeous. Quickly back to what I was just saying. Even though I'm not building my original concept of tattoo and tea, I'm still doing a version of that. Businesses and Hobbies comes with a new coffee bar, so I figured I'm going to use that new item and I'm just going to give it an entirely separate space. Even though this looks kind of big, it actually is a very small interior space. I was having a really hard time with the interior of the tattoo shop, and you'll see that when I get there because I crop a lot of it out. I just all of a sudden something sort of built, and I apologize about that, but I was like, I just turned off my camera at one point because I'm like, I don't want to have to edit all this. All right, so this is the landscaping that I did. Obviously, I wanted some greenery. I always love to have a little bit of greenery. I just think it just livens up a build a little bit more. I went with shrubs in the front because I thought that was just nice and easy, but then I left some spaces open so I could fill it up with different bushes and flowers. These are some of my favorite base game. I don't think that this new pack comes with any flowers or anything like that, except for in debug. Speaking of debug and all that, I am not using Better Build By or Tool Mod with this build at all because I built this right after the pack came out, so Tool Mod and Better Build By wasn't updated yet, and I wanted to build in the new world, and there is an issue with Tool Mod whenever there's a new pack and it hasn't updated yet that you can't load the world. So if you ever have an issue and you use Tool Mod and you're wondering why the world isn't loading and you just downloaded it, that might be why. So anyway, I am not building with Tool Mod, and do you know how hard that is for me? This is like the first build I built without Tool Mod, I don't know, in a long time. I use Tool Mod for the smallest things too that I don't really need it for, like moving an item a little bit more precisely or raising and lowering a little bit more precisely again. So I had to actually think about what I was placing because I knew I couldn't just use Tool Mod to fix all my problems. Was hard, but I am happy with how it turned out. I have been wanting to do a move objects off build and no Tool Mod build. I've been thinking about it because I really want to challenge myself, just kind of fun. All right, now this is the back deck area. Like I said, this is an area that I struggled on. Sometimes with some builds, I'll just spend so much time on one tiny area and like just move on. I don't have time to work on the back deck for an hour. I have to do the rest of the build. Oh my gosh. And also the windows kept clipping with these tables and chairs. So I ended up changing the windows here. Kind of bummed about that because I did love the way those windows looked in the bottom story as well. But just with the items, it didn't make sense. All right. Then the new pack also comes with stalls, bathroom stalls. But my problem with the bathroom stalls is that they take up like 2 tiles each, I think. I wish the stalls were 1 tile, 1 by 2 tile. That would be perfect. I could fit 2 stalls right in there, but I can't. So I have to make fake stalls, and I can't use your fancy new stalls. Originally, I was trying to make 1 bathroom that both of the businesses shared, but I just could not fit it in the space. Like I said, I was really struggling with space in the interior. So instead, I made 2 bathrooms, 1 for each of the businesses, which just made a lot more sense. This is the item that I was talking about that comes with Businesses and Hobbies that looks like those debug white pillars that I was using earlier. So yeah, I just hid those in the wall and I was able to kind of have that same effect. But I did change the swatch to black instead of white. I think they do have a white swatch, but I just thought black made more sense for the modern look that I was going for. The color of the window trim is all black too, so I just thought kind of matched a little bit more. So I'm doing the layout for the apartment right now, and layouts always take me forever. So I end up doing the apartment last, but I do like to do the whole layout first, because then if I do need to make any last minute changes, it's easier when things aren't all in place. So I like to put placeholder items though, so I don't forget what room is what. Sometimes I end up just getting in the mood to work on a space though. So like this living room, for example, I was just going to put some placeholder items, but I kind of wanted to figure out the space before I kind of move on from it. Change the swatches around a lot, but I do end up liking this living room quite a bit. It's very cozy, but it fits the whole family. It's got 6 seats, no, 5, but that 5 is enough. It's a 3-bedroom house, so yeah, if you have friends over, they can just stand. I mean, what are you guys doing watching TV anyway? Go outside and have some fun. I started a new save game with a tattoo artist sim, and I think I do want to eventually move her into here. This is definitely like an end goal house. This is not her first place. Right now, she's living in like a box, and she just has she has like a tattoo booth or like a tattoo chair on the outside of her house, just like in the yard. And when she opens her business and people just stand around, and yeah, so she's trying to make money. She's building herself up from the ground up. I think I gave her like $5,000 to start with. I wanted to be like a bit more challenging. I also covered her head to toe in tattoos. Oh, okay. So let's just take one moment to talk about the new tattoo system, which is my favorite part about this pack personally. I've drew on a couple of tattoos already, but oh my God, people are just amazing me in the gallery about what they can do with tattoos. I'm using just my mouse, but I know that you can connect like an iPod or, oh my God, an iPad or like a tablet. People are doing more than just tattoos also. They're doing like birthmarks and piercings and full body paint. All right, let me take a break about talking about that, and let me talk about the greenhouse that I'm building on the rooftop deck right now. I think it's super cute. It's very small, but it does fit in quite a few pots. I just love adding garden spaces to all my builds. It would just be a shame if your Sims don't have room to plant some flowers or some food or anything like that. I wanted to green up this greenhouse space just a little bit more, so I did add some bushes and grass. I love how this turned out. I think it makes it look a little bit more intimate up on this rooftop deck. Something about rooftop decks can just look like either sterile or like, I don't know how to explain it. So I just try to add something that gives it a little bit of warmth, and yeah, that doesn't make it look like it's just a rooftop deck. And just in case you didn't know, pretty much all my builds are play tested and meant to be played in. So yes, I do plan on playing on this later. I have been working on a save file. I mentioned this in like every video. I've been working on a save file though. That's taken me years. I will just eventually upload what I have done, because honestly, it is a ton that I've already done. Even though, yeah, I still have probably halfway to go because there's a lot of worlds in The Sims and I have all the packs. So I'm trying to do every single lot, but I have done quite a bit, and I have a ton of Sims. I don't even upload I probably upload like 5% of the Sims that I make, maybe 10%, but I would like to upload my Sims to the gallery a bit more too, because I put a lot of love into them. They're just my townies. Like I end up making them for fun, and sometimes I'll upload them, but yeah. Okay, so, I said I wasn't using tool mod earlier. I still wanted to make some sort of custom furniture. I guess you could call that custom furniture, but I was using debug wood that I had to scroll and find because I wasn't using Better Build By. But anyway, it's hard to find debug stuff without that mod, just FYI. Everything is updated though, so if you are interested in getting and trying out tool mod and Better Build By, I highly suggest it. It really does help. But I made this like cute little coffee table. Did I need to do that? No. It would have been fine if I just used another coffee table. Sure. Yeah. But I wanted it to be square, and I liked it. Okay. This is a new base game bar I think we got it in February of 2024. So it's super cute. We got also some other new kitchen stuff. I think it was for their birthday update. And I ended up playing all through the birthday challenge. I can't remember what it was called. I'm trying to remember. It's something like Blast from the Past or some time travel thing. And they had Emmett from The Sims 3 Into the Future make a cameo, and he was your guide through the challenge. So it was kind of cool seeing Emmett again. I loved Sims 3 Into the Future. Oh my God, I played the crap out of that expansion pack. I would always make like storylines where like a woman goes in the future, meets a mysterious man, gets pregnant, goes back to the past, has her baby, and then the kid grows up and wants to meet their father. So then they go into the future, and I don't know. It's just fun. And you can also change the world to be more utopian or dystopian depending on what things you do in modern time, and then you travel in the future and it makes actual changes. Okay, I'm not going to talk about it right now. I could go on forever, but let me talk about this cute little gym. I wanted to mirror the other side. I just loved how that greenhouse turned out. And then I went over to the brick side, and it was so plain and boring over here. It was just this huge empty canvas, and I did not know what to do with it. So I made this little gym, and I ended up loving the way it looked. I use this green siding that comes with the new pack, so it kind of matches with the other things I have, like that rooftop over there and some of the windows. That's what I'm looking for. I have some painting easels up there, and I also have a grill that I added, and the gym, obviously, and also a dining room table. So you have quite a bit of activities up on the rooftop deck. You can have parties up there, and the way to get up to the rooftop is actually very easy. You can just use that blue staircase, not the blue staircase, but the door with the blue staircase. Ugh, you know what I'm saying. Anyway, if I were to rebuild this now, I think I would have moved the gym forward one tile toward the door, so that way there's more space for the grill. As you can see, I'm kind of filling around. I don't know why I didn't come up with that idea as I was building this. I think I just had committed to the fact that gym was right there. Even though if you are in this situation and you do want to move it forward, you can just select the room and then literally take your mouse and move it one tile forward. There shouldn't be any issues. I would have done that now. Sorry about that, guys. I'm sure no one cares, but I kind of do. I wanted to use this tree with the hanging lights. It's in Debug for businesses and hobbies, and I think it's super cute, but I didn't like the way it was going through that little Debug base game vase, I guess you can call it, pot that I found. So I used this base game tree. It's still pretty. And now we are in that area that took me forever to build, the thing that I said I spent way too much time on. Yeah, this is all it is. It's just a bench. So is this ever going to be sat on? Maybe, by some townies. Probably trying to stargaze somehow. I don't know if you have the romance, what is that, love pack? Oh my God, why is the name slipping me? Okay, well, the pack that came out before this one, the romance one, there's this new interaction where you can like stargaze, and everyone everywhere is just having romantic scene. Like you could be in a festival surrounded by people, pure daytime, and they are out stargazing. It's cute. All right, so let me talk about this. Now we're in the tattoo shop, and there are 3 tattoo rooms. I wanted each rooms to have their own personality. So this is like the pink one, the cute one. This would be closest to what my original concept for the entire tattoo shop would be. It just, again, didn't fit the aesthetic once I started going and building, but I'm happy with it. I'm glad that each room does feel individual. I probably spent a little bit more time in this room than I did the other rooms. Also, I need to say something, I need to mention something. You might notice I have some gallery art on the wall, and it's cute, but then if you download it, some of the gallery art is gone. Well, the ones that are in photograph frames, not painting frames. So your Sims can, either take a photo with a camera or paint. So the ones that were taken with a camera all marked this as CC. So when I was testing this build out and I was putting it in my library, I see that it was marked as CC. So I did some tests. Luckily, I was able to keep some of the gallery art that I found. There's the gallery art. So I was able to keep some, but every one that was a photograph, I could not keep. So I ended up switching it out with some things. I did not put that on camera. I didn't want to. I was like, it was one of those moments where I'm like, I found the perfect tattoo art. It's kind of hard to search these things on the gallery because I have to like hashtag gallery art, gallery tattoo. The search feature is really hard, especially with gallery art, because it's not like The Sims really wants you to make gallery art. They're just trying to avoid any copyright issues or anything like that. But it is hard to find very specific gallery art. So I was very excited to find these tattoo photos. I will, if I remember, I'll put who those are from on the video or on the screen right now. I want to make sure they get credit because even if you're a console player, you can still download these. I just don't like uploading stuff to the gallery that's marked as CC just because I just don't. It hides it. Ugh, I know. I want people to download a build. Anyway, so I like that there were a lot of different cute swatches for the tattoo items. The only thing I was bummed that the pack didn't come with, and I know this is going to be extremely hyper specific, but I am still bummed. Well, when you go to a tattoo shop and they have like a tattoo book that you can kind of flip through, something like that for the table, I know, not a big deal, or tattoo art on the wall. The reason why I was downloading this gallery art. Like when you go to a tattoo shop, sometimes they have, not sometimes, like pretty much all the time, art on the wall that displays different tattoos they've done, tattoos that they can do on you, just different examples. Like most of the time it's in traditional style. Sometimes it's in like, I don't know, it's just all different things. They just didn't have any of that. And I know that this pack comes with a ton of stuff, but I was just kind of bummed and a little confused why they didn't have that specific thing, because every tattoo shop I've gone into pretty much has some sort of wall art that displays the art, and there was nothing like that. So it really doesn't matter. It's just I have a platform that I can complain on, and if I wanted to complain to some friend that doesn't play The Sims, they wouldn't get it, and I understand why they wouldn't get it. I wouldn't get it too if I didn't play The Sims. All right, so this is the cafe, and I love the way the cafe turned out. I think it turned out really cute, and I wasn't even sure what style I wanted to do in here, but the second I started putting down items, I kind of got this like boho feel. I don't know if that's the best word for it, but it's kind of eclectic, and I use some fun wallpaper. You'll see when I get there. But I also use green as the accent color because green is the accent color I use on the exterior too. So I kind of just wanted to like mirror that. Plus the door is like super green. So what can you do on the interior to like kind of match that? So I used that wallpaper, some wood, some brick. It's very warm and cozy in here. I add a variety of seating, which we will also get to. There's a motif I also have going on throughout this entire build. See this like that concrete pillar. I use that concrete pillar idea in little spots around the build where I need to put just a little concrete pillar. On the exterior, I also use that concrete siding, and there's a couple spots in the house that I use that as well. I know this is in the traditional side, but I imagine that the person that bought this whole building wanted to redo the interior of the traditional side, so this is what they did. I do want to believe that they kept most of this stuff original, so oh shoot, you know what I didn't do before uploading, and I'm just realizing this now? I didn't do the ceiling. If I could do the ceiling, this is what I would have done. I would have put tin ceiling, and I don't know if we have anything that looks kind of like tin ceiling. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, look up tin ceiling. Like early 1900s, 1800s, like tin ceilings. They're so pretty. The town that I lived in that we were looking at the building to buy was an older town that had a lot of these buildings downtown that were like old brick, and they all had this like gorgeous tin ceiling. And then we moved to another town that was like another small town in Illinois that was kind of close to Chicago, and downtown their buildings had like tin ceilings. So it's just something I think is very pretty, and I'm just having this revelation right now, so kind of funny. All right, so back to this cafe. I put some workstations using countertops. Those are also the new countertops that are base game new. So if you don't have this pack, guess what? You have those countertops. And I put some laptops there for people to go and work on. You can bring your laptop to, you can put it in your inventory in The Sims, obviously. You can put it in your inventory, and you can put it down when you go into public spaces. But for The Sims that don't quite have that much money yet, I did leave laptops there for them to use. I always think that's nice, especially for like what I was talking about earlier with my Sim who has $5,000. She doesn't exactly have the money for a laptop at this point. So she's definitely going to be going down here for some lattes and to work and maybe write a novel or two. I love how The Sims can write like 4 novels in a day. That's one of my like get rich quick schemes, is I just like have one Sim write a ton for a while, and then join the writing career too, because then it increases the speed at which you can write and finish a book. So I join the career, I write a ton of books, and then if you want, you can quit, and then you can just have like a ton of royalties coming in all the time. Wish it worked like that in real life. It's just that easy. At first, I have all the chairs and tables white, and it just was looking a little plain to me. I sometimes use either white or black swatches as a placeholder, or tan, and then I will go from there to add like accent colors, but whatever swatch speaks to me. And there was something about this yellow swatch that really spoke to me, even though I didn't really use yellow anywhere else. I do think yellow and green very much complement each other. And I had those gold vases, or not gold vases, those gold picture frames on the wall, and it kind of, I don't know, kind of worked. Also, there's these new dividers. Oh, obsessed with them. So they come with the pack. Obviously, I'm going to be talking about businesses and hobbies throughout this whole thing because I'm only using base game and businesses and hobbies for this. So I absolutely love the new They're in the plant section, I'm pretty sure. They are room dividers, but they're so pretty. Yes, more room dividers. Give me those. I like that I can also, I didn't do it in this build, but you can kind of like sneak them into walls and make sort of like half walls using them as well. I'll have to use an example one day in the future, do some cool builds with that. But just wanted to point out that object in case you were on the fence about this pack and you're just buying it for some cool things you can buy. Or yeah, in the catalog. Oh, yay. So I am up in the apartment now. Oh my gosh, we are in the final section of this build. Then I start with the bathrooms. I tend to like to start with the bathrooms because it kind of feels like I can get them out of the way. And it gives this illusion that I have more done than I actually do. Oh, there's the cement pillar that I use as the motif right in the corner of the living room. I like how it kind of gave a corner for the bookcases and the TV cabinets. The TV that I'm using, I got in the winter challenge event. Can't remember what it was called, but I got that there. So my worries is that if I use items from that event or any event for that matter, if I upload it to the gallery, will it show up if people download this and they didn't do the challenge? So I'm curious about that. And I also don't want to deter anyone from downloading something because they see, oh, I don't have an item and it's really just that TV. I love that they're adding TVs that look like pictures though. Oh, thank you. More of that. Because it just livens the place up a bit. I wish I had one of those in real life. It's cool. Well, actually right now I'm looking at my TV screen and it has like a slideshow of beautiful photos playing. So kind of is the same thing. All right. So this is the playroom and I'm kind of just also finalizing the layout here. The weird thing about the playroom-ish area, I was having a really hard time with the layout because of the windows and the stairs and all that stuff. So that's the toddler's room right here, and it's off of the playroom. The reason why I chose the toddler's room in this corner was because the playroom, they're young enough where passing through the playroom to get to their house, or get to their bedroom makes the most sense. I didn't want to put the adults' bedroom off of the playroom because that would just be weird. So I do actually think about these things while I'm building. I'm sure everyone does, but I do try to think about layout and what would be realistic, even though Sims do not care. I could make them all sleep on a couch outside in the rain. Sometimes I do, like, well, not a couch. I usually get them a tent, but they don't care, trust me. But I care. So I also, in this room, I use rainbows and clouds as design idea. I love doing kids' rooms. I think they're really cute. This is a more purpley room. I'm using that base game wallpaper, as you see on that back wall, as like an accent wall. And then there is also a solid swatch that I used on the side walls because it was looking a little too busy with all of the walls having that dotted wallpaper. So I kind of like the way this breaks things up. Now here's the parents' bedroom. It's a very weird shaped room, but I'm working with what I got, okay? And I was not willing to change the windows around. But end up actually giving me kind of a fun idea. I make this section over here, like, see how there's like a bump out? You'll see what I'm talking about. I make that into a closet, which was a good idea. But the only thing is there is a window in the way of where the wall would be. So I end up just making it, I'll show you right here. Yeah. Just sort of halfway there so they can walk around. What I'm trying to say is it's a walk-in closet that doesn't have a door. I think it turned out nice. And you can actually use that as a closet. Your Sims can go there and change. So it is technically functional. I mean, I usually just go to the bathroom and go to the mirror or right click or shift click on my Sims and modifying CAS. But it's more about the aesthetic and the fact that you can do it. I try to have as many things as I can like this functional. Sometimes things are just purely for aesthetic, but again, everything is functional. Sometimes it's just sort of like fake. I don't know how to explain it. Like more of an art piece rather than functional. Okay, whatever. I try to avoid having unnecessary objects on the lot as well, because as someone who has played on slower computers before, I'm doing that for all my people who don't have super powerful computers to play with. I get it. Luckily, my computer now It works pretty well, but I'm about to get a new one because it's starting to slow down. And I have a laptop. I'm afraid it's going to just die on me one day. I back it up constantly. All right, this is I call it the preteen room. I love making preteen rooms because I feel like they work for kids and teenagers. And I don't like to be in build by all the time when my kids are growing up and aging. I like to have like a room that I can kind of keep the same for a little while. Otherwise, like I've had a sim that was living with their parents that still had their childhood bedroom, and then their wife moved in, but I didn't have room for a twin bed. So I had bunk beds for this adult married couple. Anyway, I laugh about some of the decisions I make simply because I don't feel like going to build by when I'm playing. I build for fun, don't get me wrong, but when I'm in the mood to play, I do not want to go into build by. Absolutely not. All right, that was a random tangent. But yeah, this is the preteen room, like I was mentioning, so they can kind of work. And my new thing is adding playrooms. I did it every so often a couple years ago, but I have been making it more of a consistent thing in my builds recently. It just makes more sense because the playroom, I don't have to have a big enough room to fit in all this stuff. Like each kid can't have a art table and a violin and a lab station. It's just, and a dollhouse. I'm thinking about all the giant kids' toys. So I like that even as they grow up too, they can still have this separate room. And let's say you do download this and the kids do end up growing up, you can change this into so many different spots, like put a piano in there, put something else. Like it's a nice open space that can be utilized for so many different things. But I do like having playrooms. I don't make that many adults only builds. I usually have like family houses or a single person house. I have done a couple roommates builds and I would like to do some more. I think don't get me wrong. I love doing kids rooms. I think they're fun and colorful, but it would be fun to like just have a couple of adult, but like roommate rooms. Yeah, you get it. You see what I'm saying? Okay. So that's something that I want to like do more this year, especially since like when I'm playing, sometimes I do want to play with a couple of adults who are just roommates. They were roommates? Yeah. So anyway, as I am building this, I'm trying to think of all the things that kids would want. And I'm only, again, using base game and the new pack. So I'm just using mostly base game items in here. I think I also changed the swatches too. Yeah, because, okay, like I mentioned earlier with the cafe and using green because the green door, I realized I was using that blue door to enter the house, the apartment. And all of a sudden I thought, the theme of this has to be blue because I used blue for those windows. So I change all these things to blue. I leave the bedrooms the same. Bedrooms are whatever color. I feel like those are free reign, but I kind of like to have a theme with my houses. I kind of like them to match the exteriors. I hate doing hallways, man. Oh, I hate those art pieces too. Okay, I don't hate them. Okay. I wanted some blue art pieces and they're too fancy for this area. They're like, those are what you see when you go to an art museum. I want some more casual art pieces. I can't complain though. They've actually been adding a lot of new stuff to base game with base game updates and art and stuff like that. So I'm not complaining. I'm just saying I can't have enough. I'm greedy. Okay, so this is the kitchen. And I do black swatches here, matching with the exterior. This is on the modern side, so that's why I made sure it was modern looking. I'm using, like I said, I'm using the new cabinets, and this is my first build, I think, using those new cabinets. Oh, thank you. I'm so happy we also got that subway tile and that floor tile. I'm going to be using it all the time. And that is kind of like a traditional look and really trying to mix the two. I love a good mix of traditional and old, but I am one of those person that totally believe like if I bought an old Victorian house, I'm keeping as much original and restoring as much of the original as possible. I am not gonna like sand down and add whatever. I'm not going to whitewash anything. I'm not going to put gray flooring in. That would just be criminal at this point. So yeah, I do believe in keeping all the original stuff, but this is This is the new side of the house. So I change the swatches around so much. I love this whitewash brick though. Oh, it's base game. I use it all the time. I actually have to actively try not to use it too much because I just don't want all my builds to look the same. I'm sorry, I always forget to mention this until the end of the video, but if you buy any Sims pack or pre-made bundles, you can use my code Koki Creative at checkout, and it helps support me as a creator. It would be very sweet of you. And if you don't want to use my code and you have a favorite creator, check to see if they have a code. Just a few more things about this build before we wrap up. I want to talk about this little bench thing that I made in the kitchen / dining room. There was all this extra space in the dining room and I didn't know what to do with it. So I used cabinets, the upper head cabinets, and I kind of made a little bench area. I lifted a bench up by one, so I have some cushions. Your Sims can sit on that. And then I added some pillows around to make it look a little bit more comfy and cozy. But I kind of like the way this looks in the dining room spot. I feel like you can have a cup of coffee here and hang out. Oh my gosh, so this is kind of funny. I thought the kitchen was my last room and I was really excited about it. I took my time with the bench because I'm like, this is it, I'm done. So then I do my thing where I just check off all the floors, just do a once over before I save it to my library before I do a playtesting round. Oh my God, I realized I forgot there were 2 bathrooms on the 3rd story that I completely forgot. And I didn't want them to just be simple and easy. So I did take a little bit of time to make sure they match the aesthetic of the location they're both at. Like this bathroom right here is a little bit more modern and brutalistic, I guess you could call it, with the concrete side. And then the other one, it's a little bit more traditional. So it goes with the traditional brick side. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching today. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe, and if you like this video, give me a thumbs up and leave me a comment and let me know what you think, or if you have any future suggestions. But I hope you all have an amazing day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!